Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Now, there is a war, kind of a war on and disagreement on who should Arsenal's next striker be among our ex-players. Lucas Podolski thinks Arsenal should make a move for Erling Haaland, while Ray Parlour thinks Arsenal should sign Ivan Toney. We're gonna be diving into those stories, and then we'll try to find the reasoning behind those two lads, and then probably we'll choose a side as Cossy Arsenal podcast, and we will choose a side depending on you and your opinions in the comments below. But also William Saliba, we do have a huge update from TikTok corner. You can call him Konohan, working with Football Daily, and also an ex-writer for Football.London, but also is working with the AFC newsroom. He's actually given us an exclusive, and he said William Saliba will be coming back. But however, there is a very different view from his agent, and we're going to be exploring those stories along those lines. I tried to find out what exactly is happening, because yesterday we looked at that story. Arsenal are not willing to jeopardize the relationship between the centre backs Ben White and Gabriel, and now it looks like Saliba will be coming back. Did I say Bakali Sanya? William Gallas has also had his say about William Saliba, and he thinks Saliba should not come back to Arsenal. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get 100,000 subscribers by this year. I mean, that will be enough for this year. But for now, enjoy the video. Let's get the party started. Right, let's start off with the William Saliba situation, because it's a little bit puzzling that on a daily basis we do get an update around William Saliba, and it's a little bit different. So today, if we look at the exclusive story I'm talking about, this is it from TikTok corner, or you could call him Konohan, and he said William Saliba will stay at Arsenal beyond this summer and fight for his place in the first team. That's according to Konohan. Like I've told you, he's a senior journalist working with Football Daily. If you do follow Football Daily, they have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and he's also working with the AFC newsroom. But he was a writer at Football.London. Now, that story is look, it is a huge update for me, but it would be even better if it was coming, if it was coming in at a time when we knew nothing about the situation of William Saliba. However, that is not the case. We know that the agent of William Saliba has also come out and spoken some few words. He said, look, my agent is ready to fight for his place at Arsenal. However, Arsenal are not yet sure, and that is the problem. Arsenal are not yet sure of the future. Because, look, yesterday but one I reported that Arsenal would be willing to listen to offers for William Saliba, given they meet a certain given fee. And also some of the stories coming up from France also indicated that Saliba and his representatives were talking to Marseille to make sure the player would stay with them for another season. Arsenal do not want that. What they want is either the player comes back and be incorporated in the squad and be fitted into the squad, into the first team, or he's sold at a given fee. Now, Bakale Sanya, Williams Gallas. Why do I keep on calling him Bakale Sanya? Gallas has given us his verdict around this situation, and this is what he said. I hope you can see it very well. He said, look, he said, look, he said, and Gallas, who spent 4 years between 2006 and 2010, feels Saliba should try and force a permanent move away from Mikel Arteta's side for the development of his career. Speaking to Goal, he said, I think they didn't give him the opportunities at Arsenal, and I don't know why. That's why he moved on loan to Olympique de Marseille. Now, that is according to William Gallas, who thinks that William Saliba, I think he's a fellow countryman. I think he is, because I think both of them come from France. That's what I think. So he thinks Saliba should be moving on, on a permanent from Arsenal, and we have heard that deal and that possibility is also around. But the latest news, the latest story comes in from TikTok corner or Konohan, and he says, yes, this is an exclusive. William Saliba is ready to come back at Arsenal, fight for his place in the first team. Now, a little bit of controversy. Of course, I love controversy, you know that. But a little bit of controversy. The agent of the player today in an interview has also said, yes, the player would want to be at Arsenal. However, Arsenal are not yet sure. And that is my problem with Mikel Arteta. Because, look, I think with a situation as delicate as that of William Saliba, and I'm not really saying that we should rush into this. We should just do whatever we can without thinking about it. But it's been enough time for Mikel Arteta to think: am I going to incorporate this player in the squad, or is he going to be part of my players that I'm going to sell? Is it going to be part of the exodus? Is it going to be part of the players that stay at the club? And for me, Saliba, honestly, he's got the qualities, he's got all that it takes to be at Arsenal. If Arsenal let him go, that is their opinion. But in my case, I think we definitely need to keep him. Now, two Arsenal legends, Ray Parlour, no, not legends, ex-players, Ray Parlour and Lucas Podolski, have been commenting about the striker situation at Arsenal. Ray Parlour played for Arsenal as a midfielder. Lucas Podolski played for Arsenal as a striker. They've been giving their different verdicts on who should actually come in as Arsenal striker, and this is what both of them have had to say. Let's have a look, and then we will do our reaction, because it's very interesting. The both of them had very, very different points of view. Now this is the Ray Parlour part, and this is what he's he said. I hope we can say it right. Here we are. So he says, you don't want to be getting into bidding wars. How many clubs will be after Tony? That is the sort of striker I would be trying to get at Arsenal. Ray Parlour via TalkSport, right? That is Ray Parlour. He thinks Arsenal should not be joining any bidding wars. We should actually be going for the easy option, and that is Erling Haaland. Oh, sorry, that is Ivan Toney, right? So Lucas Podolski thinks otherwise, and he says Erling Haaland is an interesting player for everyone, because I think he has a release clause, and there are not a lot of clubs who can pay that. Of course, the English clubs have it, that sort of money, he means, and it would be happy if, and I would be happy if he got an offer from Arsenal. Now, in the morning, I did report about agent Martin Odegaard, and now we are talking about agent Lucas Podolski. So, look, let's try to look at both ends of these stories and try to find out where exactly Arsenal should be pointing. The reasoning behind Lucas Podolski's statement is, one, the release clause, which is 75 million, cannot be paid by many clubs, and that is true. And then the other thing is that, because if you look at first and foremost, if you look at the likes of Madrid and Barca, they might not be in that financial situation, despite the fact they are big clubs. And PSG are also a little bit, insecure, uncertain of where their financial position is. Actually, Arsenal is one of those clubs that can manage to spend more than 100 million in the summer. After UEFA bringing in those rules and regulations how to spend your money, you have to spend 70%, only 70% of the money you make as a club. And so that shows you that despite, if you make 100 million, you can only spend 70. So I think Arsenal is going to be one of those clubs that can spend 70, 80, 90 million plus in the summer. So Podolski thinks Arsenal should make an offer for Erling Haaland, because first and foremost, there are not going to be very many clubs going for him. And then he also says he's a very, very top class player. So look, I'm not really trying to spread any fake news about Erling Haaland to Arsenal. This is an opinion that we are trying to make sense of. I think Podolski is right. He's been a striker in Germany, and he's coming to the Premier League, and he knows Arsenal and the level at which we need to be. For me, lads, look, I agree with Lucas Podolski. Give it a try. I'm not saying he's gonna join, but give it a try. You never know. You have Martin Odegaard on your side. Just give it a try. You never know. Things do happen. And that maybe the problem would be that 600, 500k per week that Manchester City is offering, and then Mino Raiola, because on top of that 75 million release clause, I think the father is going to get around 50 million, and then Mino Raiola as an agent will also get around 50 million. So the deal could actually end in around 200 million euros. That could be the problem. But just put an offer on the table, like Lucas Podolski said. He's not said try to sign him as much as you can, but he said try to put an offer on the table. You never know what's gonna come. You never know, what comes out of a dark house. Just throw something. Just throw a stone in there. Just throw a weak bottle, an old bottle in that dark house, and you could see birds flying out. As simple as that. That is my opinion about that. But of course, let me know. Do you think Lucas Podolski holds a point? Now, Ray Parlour thinks Arsenal should actually go for a player who we all think has the potential to become world class, but at the moment he is none. Ivan Toney. And his reasoning behind that is, look, how many clubs are going to be interested in Ivan Toney? And he says, for Arsenal to avoid the bidding wars, the best thing to do is to go for a player like Ivan Toney. Now, Ivan Toney for the last 2 seasons has been really doing very well for Brentford. Scored a couple of goals in the championship for them, around 33 to aid their promotion. And in the Premier League this season, they will stay up, courtesy of his goals as well, because he scored again double figures, around 13, 12 to 13 this season. If the last time I checked, he had 12 goals. So that shows you that maybe he's got the potential. If he's scoring 12 for a Brentford side that you feel most of the time in the Premier League is playing a low block, is playing teams that are bigger, and this is their first season in the Premier League. Of course, next season you might see them crumble under pressure and suffer from the second season syndrome. We see that all the time, but in my opinion, Ray Parlour has a point as well. I mean, Arsenal, remember the likes of Gonzalo Higuain, remember the likes of Karim Benzema. Bidding wars are one of the reasons why we don't get players in time. That is one. And also one of the reasons why we don't get the players we need in certain positions. For example, Houssem Aouar should be our central midfielder, but now, for now. But then, by the time we were trying to sign him, we were in a bidding war with Juve, with Atletico Madrid, with PSG, and all of them ended up not signing him, but also they made sure that Arsenal don't sign him. It's the same situation with Manuel Locatelli. I think with Locatelli, my problem is that we took a lot of time on one deal, and we knew the player wanted Juve, and Juve wanted the player, and Sassuolo wanted to sell to Juve. It was pretty much on the plate, but we wanted to force it. We wanted to force the relationship. We wanted that forced love with Manuel Locatelli or Lacatelli. I don't know how you pronounce it. And then it failed. So Ray Parlour thinks for us not to avoid these awkward kind of situations, bidding wars and everything, what you need to do is go for a player like Ivan Toney. He spots him as a future talent, as a future, huge, player. And then you're not going to have lots of competition around him. I have 1 or 2 questions for Ray Parlour. One, does he feel he's got, in him the genes to be a Karim Benzema? Because that is where Arsenal need to go, right? There was a time when we wanted to sign Karim Benzema from Real Madrid, and we should never lose that path. We can never lose that path. That is where Arsenal have to be. That is where we deserve to be by history and when you look at the kind of project we're building, when you look at the kind of work we are putting in, the stadium that we have, 60,000 seater. You don't tell me that you have a 60,000 seater and then you want to survive. You want to already survive and linger around the top 6 and top 8. You have to be among the top 3 clubs in the UK, challenging and winning titles in the UK, and also challenging for titles on Europe. So Ivan Toney, can he be Karim Benzema? No. And if you look at all the targets that we are having, I think Arsenal can easily avoid a bidding war. Let me give you an example. Fabrizio Romano has put out a story right about, I think, you can go on onto his Twitter, and he said Lille Metropole will be selling a couple of players, including the likes of Renato Sanchez and also Jonathan David. Look, I don't trade Jonathan David that much, but what I'm trying to say here is that David is going to be for sale in the summer. You have Alexander Isak who will be moving in the summer if the right offer comes in. You have Darwin Nunez as well. You have DCL as well. And you also have the likes of Victor Osimhen. So I don't think bidding wars are really going to happen. Yes, Fabrizio says there's so many clubs that want strikers, including Gabriel Jesus. It's going to be in the next weeks. Arsenal will have to beat off competition from other clubs. However, the player would love to stay in the Premier League and loves Arsenal. That's why everything on his part is agreed to join the club. So, look, the truth about this is this. You cannot say we want to sign a player because there is no bidding war. There must be some quality in there. I think Ray Parlour feels there is enough quality in Ivan Toney. I might disagree. Honestly, I might disagree. I think the quality is there, very much potential, but not as a player who comes in to start for Arsenal. He can't come in, probably, just give us that kind of squad depth. But with Gabriel Jesus coming in, I need to see someone above him. If Gabriel Jesus is not coming in, then you can bring in Ivan Toney and probably Victor Osimhen or Darwin Nunez. Because with Ivan Toney is one player who is happy to sit on the bench, wait for the Europa League, just like you see the role Patson Daka is doing for Leicester. You have Kelechi Iheanacho starting with Jamie Vardy up front, but Patson Daka is happy to come in for Europa League, to come in for those FA Cups, and then he scores 4 goals in a match, scores hat tricks and things like that. I think that is what Ivan Toney is. He can come in, just give you that kind of squad depth, but not relying on him. You're going to rely on him. He's going to make a massive jump from Brentford to Arsenal, which is okay because we have seen so many players do that, like Ben White and Ramsdale. But then the kind of pressure you're going to put on him, right? Because look, our system doesn't allow you to have a support striker. You're gonna have wingers who in modern football become forwards, literally / strikers. But it's not going to be that they will score that regular. That is not the point. That is not how they do it. So for me, he comes in as a backup. If we get Gabriel Jesus, we should not go for Ivan Toney. Let me know your thoughts about Ray Parlour's opinion. And lastly, in this episode, we'll discuss the big man. We'll discuss the story about the big man, DCL. I will not discuss Pepe. I will not discuss. Jonathan David. We'll talk about that in the morning. But I was quite interested by the Footy Insider 247 story around Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And this is what they've said. Dominic Calvert-Lewin favors a move to Arsenal over Newcastle this summer, and has even told his friends his preferred destination for a move is Arsenal. Calvert-Lewin is likely to leave Everton this summer, whether they stay up or not. At Footy Insider 247. Interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting. Why I love this story personally is it just brings back the DCL vibes. So the latest we had about DCL was that Arsenal had cooled their interest in the player. They think the injury that he suffered this season could actually affect him. However, the window is not closed because Arsenal is also going to give priority to homegrown players, just like DCL. So, look, this is what I'm gonna say. With DCL, at the moment, it is cool, and I think it just gives Arsenal that opportunity to look at him, scout him, and then just go, we will buy him or we will not buy him, right? He's not like these other strikers that are already in the market. Everyone is trying to bid for them and all that kind of crap. He's just there. Not many clubs are talking about him. Gets him, and then probably we would get what we don't have on that forward line. But let me know in the comments below. The like target on this video is 200 likes. And I'll speak to you right in the next one. William Saliba, exclusive story, will be staying at Arsenal. His agent denies that, and he says Arsenal are not really prepared to keep his player. DCL thinks he will be moving to Arsenal in the summer, and he would love the move. And also, Podolski wants Haaland, as Ray Parlour wants Ivan Toney. See you soon. I'll speak to you in a bit.